want to just focus on kind of maybe having different trajectories on our chip shots, and then I also just want to focus on trying to land it in specific spots. Okay, I think that's really important with chipping. A lot of students that I ask, I'm like, hey, are you trying to pick out a spot you're chipping to, or are you just kind of looking at the hole? And a lot of my students were, oh, I'm just looking at the hole. Well, you know, when your eyes are kind of looking at the hole, that's just kind of, I think it's easier to control the distance the ball's going to go if you're just focusing on landing the ball in a certain spot and letting it roll out to the hole. Whether that be it rolling a couple feet or whether it rolling 20 or 30 feet. Okay, so what this drill does, it just really focuses on your landing spots and trying to execute it. Okay, so chipping, obviously the setup is key. We want a super narrow stance. Okay, you know, a lot of guys like to put the ball super back in their stance. I'm not totally against it. It's just really hard to make really good contact that way. Your margin of error is very, very minimal. So I like to see kind of a ball kind of more in the middle of our stance. Definitely you control the trajectory of the club by the way the shaft leans, whether it's really far forward or kind of neutral. Okay, I like kind of a neutral setup to maybe just slightly forward. Okay, we want to feel like a majority, maybe 60-40 of our weight is on our front foot. Okay, have a little bit of an open stance. I don't want to see people really square, or I don't want to see their feet really wide. Okay, and then all we're doing is we're just trying to focus on where we're trying to land this ball. Okay, so I'm going to land it, try to go in that first square. Okay. Okay. And so what's cool is once you execute it and get it in that first square, then we can go to the second one. Okay. And then so this is just basically the drill here is just to go from square to square, and you're just trying to land it in those spots. Okay. Iron setup and a driver setup is two different setups. With the driver, we want the ball position up in our stance. That's going to help us hit it more on the upswing. So they say the way to hit the ball the furthest is to launch it high with low spin. Okay. If we want to launch it high, that means we need to hit up on it. Okay. So by putting the ball up in our stance, that's going to help us. Okay. Another thing is tee height. That is probably the most simple thing. If you want to hit it higher, you need to tee it higher. Okay. I see a lot of people teeing it up super, super low, and it's really hard to hit up on it when that ball is really low. Okay. And then the second thing is our spine tilt. Okay. So what I mean by that is if we're going to set up to a driver, okay, we're going to be like this. Okay. What's really going to help us launch that ball in the air and swing up on it is by just taking our right shoulder and dropping it back a little bit. Okay. So a little tip to do that is just take your right hand off, just move that a little bit down your leg like this, and then grip it. Okay. So you can see that the angle that my shoulders make is up in the air, and that's going to allow me to swing up on the ball. Okay. So yeah, so teeing it higher is going to help you hit it further. Hitting up on it is going to help you hit it further. By hitting the upper part of the driver face, that's going to kind of have that knuckleball effect. I'm sure we've all hit those balls before that kind of go out there and don't have a ton of spin and get some roll. The higher we can hit it on this club face, the better we can with the spin dropping down, and then vice versa. If we're hitting it on the bottom of the club face, that's when our spin rate goes really, really high, and that ball's not going to go very far.